Adam, domestic violence cases are somewhat different than other types of criminal cases. Can you explain and go into that?
You're dealing with emotions when prosecuting a domestic violence case, not only on the part of the defendant, but also on the part of the victim. The victims may waffle back and forth. They may, in the beginning, want the subject, their spouse, arrested, and then they may change their mind. And that's all natural, because far be it from me as a DA to put myself in a victim's shoes. I haven't experienced the abuse that she has, but I must recognize that she may make decisions that may not seem reasonable to me. But I must always keep in mind that it's not about me. It's not about what I want. It's not about what I want as a prosecutor. It's what's in the victim's best interest, and also what is in the system's best interest. So oftentimes we may have a situation where the victim may very well want to withdraw the charges. But my role, my responsibility is to ensure that if that's what in fact she wants to do, she's doing it for the right reasons. She's not doing it because she feels threatened in some way or coerced to do so by her spouse, but it's because she knows that that's what's in her best interest or her child's best interest. There are also instances of delayed disclosure. A lot of times acts of domestic violence aren't brought about, aren't complained of right away. Oftentimes it takes weeks, months, sometimes years for a victim of severe domestic violence to gain the courage to come forward and to finally complain about the abuse and to seek help. And it would be improper for a prosecutor to say to himself or to herself, hey, why wouldn't you want to come forward right away if in fact this incident occurred? It takes a sensitive prosecutor, it takes an experienced prosecutor, someone with the experience that I've accumulated over the last 15 years to realize there are a host of reasons why a woman, or a child for that matter, might delay disclosing acts of domestic violence or physical or sexual abuse. And it's these type of experiences, it's that type of expertise that I intend to bring with me to the Putnam County District Attorney's Office in January of 2008.
Adam, could you explain what happens when children are the victims of domestic violence?
Well, there are different ways that children can be victimized by domestic violence. A child is victimized by an act of domestic violence when he or she witnesses one parent strike or abuse another parent. And a child can be a victim of domestic violence when the child, him or herself, is actually physically victimized, or for that matter, emotionally victimized by an abusive parent. Either way, the children must be treated with kid gloves. That it takes, again, a very sensitive person, a sensitive prosecutor, to understand and to recognize that children can be a wealth of information regarding what occurred on a specific date and time and location. But at the same time, you have to be able to speak to a child in children's terms so as to not frighten them, so as to make them feel comfortable with speaking with you, because a child doesn't want to speak to you as a stranger. And that's one of the important reasons why you would want to bring in a victim's advocate. Bring in an advocate who deals with children to sit down with you as a prosecutor and the child. I did it on a number of occasions when there was a child who either witnessed a parent strike or abuse another parent, or unfortunately was victimized themselves. We would sit down in a room that was properly situated for a child with toys and books, and you first had to gain their trust. And it's not something you can learn overnight, Carol. This takes years and years of experience, unfortunately, sometimes it's trial and error. But my job, my role as the district attorney of Putnam County would be to ensure that the best qualified assistants and best qualified victims advocates were in place to ensure that the needs and the welfare of the children were paramount to any prosecution for either domestic violence or child abuse.
Adam, thank you for joining me here today and being in Cold Spring.
Thanks for inviting me, Carol. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. And thank you for listening today and joining with us on this conversation. I hope you'll join me in supporting Adam Levy in his run for District Attorney of Putnam County.